A few people are searching for lost treasure at the bottom of the sea. Unexpectedly, the sharks in the sea have never seen a new thing like a mop before, and one of them snatches it away. However, this does not affect the group's continued search. Soon, they dig out a large number of antique bottles from the seabed, but unfortunately, they are all just a bunch of scrap copper and iron. The sunken ship at the bottom of the sea is still nowhere to be found. Unwilling to give up, Paul dives into the sea again. Soon, he discovers that there seems to be something at the bottom of the sand. After non-stop searching, a golden ancient sword inlaid with jewels is dug out. With the appearance of such an item, the treasure at the bottom of the sea must be extraordinary. This is a big win. As long as they find the treasure in the sunken ship, they will definitely reach the peak of their lives. At this moment, Paul notices a glimmer of light not far away. When he swims over to take a look, he surprisingly discovers a crashed plane. The group enters the interior with flashlights to investigate and finds drugs worth tens of millions. Everyone is instantly at a loss. Brandon and Zoe want to sell the drugs and make a fortune. Although the penniless Paul is very tempted, he, like his girlfriend Leah, firmly refuses to do anything illegal. They don't want to end up in prison. But if they report this to the police will definitely seal off this sea area, causing them to lose the opportunity to hunt for treasure. So everyone unanimously decides to dig up the treasure first and then go to the police station to report the case. The next day, they put on simple diving equipment and dive into the sea again to search for treasure. Unexpectedly, Zoe, who is thinking about the drugs, goes to the crashed plane alone while the others are not paying attention, intending to take a few packets back. However, she accidentally gets her oxygen tank stuck, and her life is in imminent danger. When Paul goes up and doesn't see Zoe, he immediately senses the danger. He quickly takes an oxygen tank to search for her. Finally, he finds Zoe, who is on the verge of death, in the cabin. This time, Paul also finds artifacts from the sunken ship. Through consulting ancient books, he learns that these artifacts actually come from a century-old merchant ship called the West Wind. The treasure inside is estimated to be worth hundreds of millions. They must salvage the treasure before others find out. But the next day, when they go to sea, they are targeted by bandits. Two strong men sneak onto the ship and rummage through everything. Paul quickly joins forces with Brandon to drive them away. At the same time, Paul finds a hat left behind by the bandits and recognizes that this person may be a subordinate of his former boss. The former boss is a captain who specializes in treasure hunting. The secret of the treasure must not be revealed to him. So Paul goes to question the captain, but the other party refuses to admit it. Paul realizes the crisis. With his current equipment, it is simply a pipe dream to find the treasure as soon as possible, but they don't have the money to buy advanced equipment. So Zoe suggests that they fish out the drugs and sell them to solve the money problem. The rational Paul still refuses, but Brandon doesn't want to miss the opportunity. He secretly takes a few packets of drugs with Zoe and finds a local gang to sell them. However, not only do they not get the money, but they are also kidnapped. It turns out that this batch of drugs belongs to the boss of the gang. The boss immediately calls Paul and gives him 5 days to hand over all the drugs. Otherwise, he will let them become shark lunch. Paul doesn't want to reveal the location of the treasure, so he has no choice but to ask the drug dealer for money to buy equipment and decides to salvage it himself. Leah doesn't want to touch anything illegal and immediately decides not to participate anymore. Just as the three of them are retrieving the drugs, an accident happens.